Sheriff Todd Baxter, employees of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. District Attorney Sandra, Doorley, employees of the Montgomery District Attorney's Office. Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. Paul C. Munson, James C. Milley Jr., Penfield Town Court. Julie Cianca, Mark Phillips, in the Public Defender's Office. My name is Chris Rochester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been in jail 6 times. The 6 times the prosecutor's not talked in court. There was not one word, one sound, one syllable from these freaks at the District Attorney's Office prosecuting me in total silence. And who is it? You know, Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckle. And you know employees of the District Attorney's Office, Elizabeth Buckley, Mark Monahan, Michelle Crowley. You know. I'm going to read the Freedom of Information Law dated this December 6th, 2023. It should arrive in the District Attorney's Office sometime between midnight and 9 a.m. on this December 6th. And you can tell me who it is. You, Julie Cianca, serve at the pleasure of Sabrina Lamar and the other members of the Montgomery County Legislature. When I contact Sabrina Lamar, especially when I send her the email from May 14th of this year, telling you, as the public defender, to tell me, as a defendant, Chris Charges, names my prosecutors, you're refusing. And you're sending my mail back to me. I've held up those envelopes. I'm not going to do it again in the interest of time. And so is Mark Phillips. You both should be disciplined by the grievance committee, I believe it is. Because I'm going to send the grievance committee copies of these manila envelopes that you're sending back to me. It's at least 5 for each of you. And then how do you explain yourselves? For refusing to disclose information you have at the public defender's office, which is the name of a prosecutor that has delivered me to jail. The psychopath prosecutor before Paul C. Metzer in Penfield Town Court, John P. Metzer Jr. in Penfield Town Court, and Alex Renzi in Penfield Town Court can't make an argument I committed a crime. That's why the prosecutor is always silent. So the prosecutor is using the lie on paper concocted by the psychopath cops at the sheriff's office to deliver me to jail in front of the corrupt judge. And it doesn't matter to you because you're afflicted with a psychosis. I tried to strive for language with precision. National Institutes of Health. What is psychosis? Psychosis refers to a collection of symptoms that affect the mind, where there has been some loss of contact with reality. That's exactly you. I'm not saying you're mentally ill. Loss of contact with reality. Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles, Assistant District Attorneys Mark Monahan, Elizabeth Buckley, Michelle Crowley. I have prosecutors. Who is it? Public Defender Julie Cianca, Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips for $147,000 and $87,000. Who is it? There's a loss of contact with reality with you in refusing to disclose these names to me. Just like there's a loss of contact with reality with this $28,000 bald-headed widow, Paul C. Metzer, who once had total control over my life when a prosecutor talked to court. Because I'm stalked into the Penfield Public Library, Richard J. Seaman of the Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter, $75,000 violent criminal. I stand up at the computer, Seaman runs at me, slams his arm into my head, I fall backwards, my head hits the ceramic tile. The partner with Seaman kicks me when I'm down on the ground. They take me out of the library, frog march me down to Paul C. Metzer. That's where I meet my public defender, Julie Cianca, and this is what I'm going to tell Sabrina Lamar and the members of the Montgomery County Legislature. You know I'm supposed to be in Penfield Town Court, but I don't. This is the window dressing unconstitutionality so this bald-headed widow, Paul C. Metzer, could say I had counsel. I'm meeting my public defender right before Paul C. Metzer was going to declare me guilty, and I'll be driven to Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. I'm violently attacked by Richard J. Seaman. That's a crime. Paul C. Metzer is going to be in Penfield Town Court by herself when the district attorney's office is not notified. I do not know if that's legal or not. And then I'm meeting my public defender right at that moment. I do not know if that's legal or not. And then I'm driven out of Monroe County to Livingston County to Geneseo, all because this $28,000 bald-headed widow is one person wants to send me to jail. Is that constitutional? Perry Duckles, Mark Monahan, Elizabeth Buckley, Michelle Crowley, you could tell me. If you had decency and character, you would. You could just call me on the phone. Freedom of Information Law. December 6, 2023. I have prosecutor's silence. Who is it? This is why Sandra Doorley's corrupt. You exist in delusional 1984, but I believe, I'm guessing, that you have admiration for her. She's a psychopath and a freak. Conviction Integrity Unit. That explains it right there. District Attorney's Office has to have a separate bureaucracy to police itself. Psychopath and freak, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, has innocent citizens in jail when prosecutors don't talk in court, which is me, and then she has to have form a separate bureaucracy in her office to police herself. So, documentation for the case for history charges yesterday in Pelham Court for John P. Lenzer Jr. was named the prosecutor, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, December 6, 2023. The freaking sociopath prosecuting me in total silence, who I believe is Julie Hahn, who's now in Monroe County Court with 70%, is right here. If I'm incorrect, who is it? Who's the freaking sociopath? The second, Freedom of Information Law dated this December 6th. This is the boy in his three-piece suit that Regina Harper, the public defender's office, said to me at one point, "This insane destruction of my life," where prosecutors never talked. The prosecutor's not backing down. Just because of $73,000 perjury Michael Lynn, I'm not going to talk about that right now. But I know what this boy looks like. Because when you freaks and sociopaths had a little event or a little party, a little something, you were crouching, I looked right at him. The boy I went up to him in Penfield, or stood right next to him. Is he going to stand there and not going to talk? He stood straight ahead. I'm standing next to him. I'm about 12 inches away from him. And I'm waiting for him to look at me. He doesn't even have the character to look at me. He's staring straight ahead. There's bald-headed widow Paul C. Metzel there. He doesn't say anything. I'm driven to jail. That's one of those times I was driven to jail. Because I've been in jail 6 times. So, what's his name? This boy, in front of Paul C. Metzler, that Regina Harper said, her exact words are, quote, "The prosecutor not backing down," end quote, sent me to jail. Who is it? The freaking sociopath that is that boy. That's right here. Tell me who it is. Then, the Exalted One wants to examine my head. Because the Exalted One thinks he's a shrink. Who did this to me? Right here, further proceedings. This is Alex Renzi. One of you freaks and sociopaths at the District Attorney's Office responsible for this document I have right here in my hand. He didn't do this on his own. Because when I appear in front of the Exalted One, $210,000 Renzi, I have a prosecutor. Or, if I'm incorrect, because I don't have the arrogance about I'm right about everything. I'm not that type of human being. Did the Exalted One just decide I'm going to be at 99 Exchange and you have nothing to do with it? You're finished and done, his exact words. Do you understand, you freaks and sociopaths? That includes Pretrial Services Corporation. Pretrial Services Corporation, the 1984 insanity of you freaks and sociopaths. When I have to go check in with Jamie Bell at Pretrial Services Corporation, pre-trial. I don't have a trial scheduled. And Alex Renzi and you freaks and sociopaths at the District Attorney's Office is using this bureaucracy on me. Pretrial Services Corporation, so he can send me to jail if I don't go to see her on St. Paul and make a phone call. I believe that is dubious constitutionality. But you know for sure if that's constitutional or not. Who did this to me? Further proceedings. Wednesday, April 20th, 2022. Bam, I'm in Monroe County Jail. Just like that. Who did it to me? Tell me who it is. So, over and over and over, I'm demanding this information from you. So, prosecutor's silence. Paul C. Metzler, John P. Lenzer Jr., Alex Renzi. December 6th. Prosecutor's silence. Paul C. Metzler, John P. Lenzer Jr., Alex Renzi. December 4th. Prosecutor's silence for John P. Lenzer Jr., Paul C. Metzler, Alex Renzi. November 30th. Prosecutor's silence for Paul C. Metzler, John P. Lenzer Jr., Alex Renzi. November 28th. Over and over and over, you're refusing to disclose this information for me because you're corrupt, because you're freaks, because you're sociopaths. You do not know that you're corrupt, that you're freaks, and you're sociopaths. And this document gets Lindsay Brown, the Monroe County Office of Monroe County Mental Health, to my residence right here. December 6th. Sends to me Paul C. Messer and James Ryan Jr. The quote defective documents and quote for the case of Dan DeLaus III, Palatown Court for John P. Lemendris Jr. This revolting psychopath, John P. Lemendris Jr., freed Daniel DeLaus III because he has a relationship with the family. He does not recuse himself for the appearance of Daniel DeLaus III. So I bring this exact photo, its exact language, over to Palatown Court. I drop it off at 1985 Bed Road to the old lady at the window. I say, my name's Chris Chichester. I want to see these defective documents. I walk home. I go for my run. So I finish my run on Willow Pond Way, which connects to Sandra from driving Penfield. I'm walking toward my residence, and then I see Lindsay Barron in Monroe County Office of Mental Health in my residence, in the driveway. I turn around and run away again because these freaks have been to my residence over and over, the sheriff's office. On that day, you bald-headed freak, Todd Baxter, there's your employee in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle with Lindsay Barron in the Monroe County Office of Mental Health. While I'm using the freedom of information and demanding information from Palatown Court. She sees me as I continue to run. I run back down Willow Pond Way. Here comes the sheriff's office vehicle with Lindsay Barron. I'm running on Willow Pond Way. Lindsay Barron starts to scream at me. I'm running. Lindsay Barron, I want to talk to you, Chris. I'm running. I want to talk to you, Chris. Here's the sheriff's office vehicle driving me. Do you know your sheriff's office employee, you bald-headed stooge, Todd Baxter, was driving his vehicle down Willow Pond Way, which goes to Wegmans in Penfield, New York, as this mental health bureaucrat was screaming at me when I'm exercising my First Amendment right, demanding information from this disgusting, sick, revolting star chamber where there isn't a jury of 12. There isn't a witness box for witness testimony. There's not even a table for a defendant and a defense attorney to sit at. There's not even a table for a prosecutor to sit at. This room is a joke, a disgrace, an abomination. And you employees of the district attorney's office, specifically Elizabeth Buckley, director of local courts, debase yourselves when you go in there and grovel before these two freaks who can easily redirect defendants away to another jurisdiction in Monroe County in the city of Rochester and get a fair hearing. I don't care that they're elected. And they're elected with like 5, 6, 7,000 votes, some joke like that. You can redirect defendants away from them because that's what happened with me. This is the lunatic French. This is why you have a psychosis at Palatown Court. You, Paul C. Metzer, understanding psychosis. Again, psychosis refers to a collection of symptoms that affect the mind where there has been some loss of contact with reality. You, Paul C. Metzer, and you, John P. Lemendris Jr., and you, James Finley Jr., have a loss of contact with reality because I want to see these documents. I'm demanding to see these documents, and you're refusing every single time to send them to me. Todd Baxter, what's a surveillance device? You know, because I've been on one because the public defender sent me the images, and you'll lie about it because you're a liar. January 16, 2023, again, Lindsay Barron is at my residence. This mental health bureaucrat is at my residence because I'm using an exercise of my First Amendment right, like I've stated, demand documentation from Palatown Court, and then I use this phrase surveillance device. And she's at my residence, again with the sheriff's office employee. This photograph is why you're fanatic. This photograph is why you're extremist. This photograph is why you're alive. This photograph is why another name is $67,000 disgusting at Channel Mark. This photograph is why people hate the police. Copy 2 Training Ross, United States Attorney for West District, New York. Paul C. Metzer, James Finley Jr., Mark Phillips, Christina Harper, Perry Douglas, Michael Radler. January 16, 2023. There it is right there. I've been on it. Todd Baxter. How many times do I have to demand something? It's more than 100 times now. It's just private technology for a camera, also called a surveillance device, that is on this building at 2025 Penfield Road for a business called Consumer Insights where Elliot Roth's the president. You buy it with taxpayer dollars. Or is this private technology? What is it? What's the answer, Sheriff Todd Baxter? I'm going to say this again for you. I'll repeat myself because corruption requires repetition. Sheriff Todd Baxter, is this a surveillance device that you bought with taxpayer dollars at 2025 Penfield Road, or is it private technology on this building? He'll continue to lie about it. Because it's a break with contact with reality. That's why. He's not there. Gertrude Stein. There is no there there. There's no there there. With Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra, Doorley, Alex Renzi, Paul C. Metzer, James Finley Jr., and Palatown Court. And as I belatedly concluded, $140,000 Judy Sianka and $87,000 Mark Phillips. What did we talk about once, Mark? SUNY Fredonia, right? You're a graduate of SUNY Fredonia, and I went there for 2 years before I enlisted in the Army. Hendricks Hall. I learned how to play quarters in Hendricks Hall, Mark. I went there to run on a cross-country team. When the drinking age was 18, I was there. And we talked about that. And when I talked to you, and we had that conversation briefly about SUNY Fredonia, I had respect and admiration for you. That vanished. When I looked at your name on an envelope. When you're returning this to me, well, all you had to do is tell me the names of my prosecutors. It vanished. So, tell me the names of these freaks and sociopaths. It's right here on the Freedom of Information Law, dated this December 6th. You understand me? 12, December 6th. The names of my prosecutors. Who is it? You will continue to refuse. This is how Shannon Meyer sets me up. This psychopath named Raj shot his 50-year-old man, Elizabeth's 70-year-old mother. He was up here screaming at me as I came back from Gold's Room Airport. Shannon Meyer calls me. This is how she decides to set me up. This then $67,000 freaking sheriff's office. I say, people walk through his parking lot every day. Why is he going to the sheriff's office about me and not anybody else? Not the elderly woman across the street, not my neighbor Adam, not Penfield High School students. Penfield High School students walk through his parking lot in their red athletic apparel. Nate Raj looks right at him, doesn't call the sheriff's office. It's only me. Where's my 14th Amendment right to protection laws? Shannon Meyer tells Steve Desmond of Broccoli Tree Lawn Care, Roger attracted by this residence here. If he comes out of the house, we're going to be there. We, meaning her and 6 other sheriff's office employees. The problem with that, you Jonestown Kool-Aid drinker, Sheriff Todd Baxter, for me to walk out here, say nobody owns that land, walk back in my residence, that's not a crime. Do you know how I know nobody owns that land? You bald-headed stooge? Because this is not one. There's 2 things here. This is not documentation that Layla Kumar and Nate shot this 50-year-old freak Elizabeth 7-year-old mother sent me. This is nothing. And then when I called Timothy Murphy, the Monroe County Officer of Real Property Tax Service, I kept saying to him over and over where I sent this to him. Tell me if Layla Kumar Shah and Nate Shah own this land. And he can't do it. And as I'm talking to Timothy Murphy at the Monroe County Office of Real Property Tax Service, where I'm at the point where I'm demanding you tell me what the answer is about if there's land ownership here, he hung up on me. When I bought my house in the Albany, New York suburb of Guilderland in 1997, where I lived there for almost 5 years, 4+ years, my realtor, her name is Gloria, gave me a document. I lived in a cul-de-sac. She said, this is the documentation that proves you own the land next to your house. And I remember sitting there with Gloria and looking at it. And on that document, it's nothing like this because I'm trying to search for the right language. She had a notarization or a seal or a marking where there was something from the town of Guilderland in the state of New York that certified I own the land next to my residence at 4060 Georgetown Square. This is nothing, you freaks and sociopaths and fanatics. The desperation of this cop freak. Pay attention, bald-headed stooge. Even if, by some miracle, if there's a Vatican intervention and the Pope declares this an official miracle, that this is documentation that proves that this land here has ownership. By some miracle, if this land here has ownership, it's not a crime, you bald-headed stooge, Todd Baxter, for me to walk outside here, say nobody owns the land, walk back my rights. Tell me that's a crime. And you won't. You'll just exist in that stone-cold idiot silence that defines you. When did we last talk, Sheriff Todd Baxter? It was at that parade on East Main Street. Do you remember that, Todd Baxter? I think it was the Memorial Day parade. This was at the end of spring. And I'm waiting for you to walk by me because I had previously had communication with you at one of these events. And I'm standing, I'm looking for you, and I'm looking for your Monroe County Sheriff's Office. As I look to my left, there you are by yourself. It's just you, Sheriff Todd Baxter. And you treated me with decency. Briefly. You said hello, words to that effect. I'm standing there in front of you. You're looking at me, I'm looking at you. And then you began to walk away. And as you walked away, I said to you, tell your employees to stop violently attacking me. Richard J. Seaman walked into the Penfield Public Library, ran at me, slammed his arm at the side of my head. It fell backwards. My head hit the ceramic tile. The criminal complaint is in your office. I'm going to read that. I'm walking into Gold's Gym. 5 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees arrive because, again, you're stalking me in Penfield, New York. This psychopath Monroe County Sheriff Office employee gets out of his vehicle, runs at me, knocks me to the ground. My head slammed down on the concrete outside the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans. The psychosis, the break with reality, and you're in Todd Baxter and your employees. I'm on the ground. My head just hit the concrete, just like my head hit the hard surface of the Penn Public Library. And then the Monroe County Sheriff Office employees, as 10 of them are standing over me, says to me, don't move, Chris. Don't move, Chris, after he just watched me violently attack. Who is it, Todd Baxter? You know who can tell you who it is? You won't tell me, but you know who can tell you who attacked me outside the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans? Your female employee with the Marine-style haircut and tattoos. That's who can tell you. Because Todd Baxter, when you arrested me for double jeopardy on Penfield Road, I'm New York's 5-day double jeopardy inmate because of $73,000 perjury on Michael Land. when you've driven me back to Monroe County Jail, well, I'm going to become New York's 5-day double jeopardy inmate. The person who's driving me is the female employee who saw me violently attacked at the pharmacy entrance of Wegmans. Then when I subsequently told Andrew Reality about this, he stated her name. Her name, I don't remember her name anymore. So, gangsters, here on this December 4th, apply with the first attached Freedom of Information Law, document PDF dated December 4, 2023. I've been in jail as an innocent man 6 times a freak prosecutor, didn't talk to court at the District Attorney's Office, Jonestown. There's not one word, one syllable, one sound ever from a freak prosecutor assigned to my insane court appearances. How am I in jail one time when a prosecutor doesn't talk to court? You two party switching Kool-Aid drinkers behave the same way the mafia did in New York City. The driving force reason a prosecutor silent course is possible making harm that committed a crime. Then there are links here. Gangsters, nothingness, identify my prosecutor silence, Julie Siaka, violence. Then it continues here. Mail the names of my prosecutor's silence to my address listed below that is on the Freedom of Information Law 4. Capiche? The language on this first attached Freedom of Information Law dated this December 4, 2023. First bullet point. Documentation of the case for Christopher Chichester before John P. Lorenzo Jr. in Pavitat Court was named the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley. Bullet point 2. Documentation of the case for Christopher Chichester, Paul C. Messer, Pavitat Court was named the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley. Bullet point 3. Documentation of the case for Christopher Chichester for Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court was named the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley. In July, you received 5 criminal complaints notarized by Christopher Price, the Rochester Public Library, attached to PDF. Arrest and prosecutors named in my complaints. Bullet point 1. 75904 Richard J. Seaman, Monroe County Sheriff's Office. 73312 Michael Lulan, Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Laura Riley, Webster, New York. Antonio Spano, Fairport, New York. Layla Kumar, Shot Penn, New York. Naylor Shot Penn, New York. My 80-year-old psychopath landlord, Antonio Spano, Fairport, New York, locked the doors to my rents of 8 years in Penn, New York without a court order. While I was in Livingston County Jail in Geneseo because $28,000 bull-headed widow Paul C. Metz from Penn Court had total control over my life. This week, I'll obtain documentation notarized by Christopher Price, the Rochester Public Library, to list everything I don't own or possess because this criminal from hell that is Antonio Spano evicted me and includes 1. My DD-214, 2, Army Commendation Medal, 3, Army Achievement Medal, 4, Air Assault Badge, 5, Dress Green, 2nd Squadron, 17, Cavalry, 101st Airborne of Air Assault, 4, Campbell, Kentucky, 6th, BA State University, New York, Stony Brook, 7, my father's dress from his child in Brooklyn, New York, 8, my 3 bikes, weightlifting, equipment, treadmill, rowing machine, running power, biking power, running shoes, 9, my 10 plus St. Christopher medals, including ones given to me by my mother in elementary school, my 1,000 plus books. This is the obliteration of my life by psychopath 80-year-old Antonio Spano, Fairport, New York. With the assistance of my ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley, Webster, New York, Spano deposited my 1,000 plus books in the trash because you two freaks prosecuting me in total silence empowered him to vacate my life. An old man who speaks in broken English took every single thing from my possession. It includes a $750 marijuana washer and dryer. When the new tenant is shown the residence by Antonio Spano, he had to stand in front of the washer and dryer. He doesn't know it to highlight the fact that the laundry can be done in the basement. His behavior is the lunatic fringe of life that you two party switching freaks can't recognize. I was forced to sleep in a house where I'm parked in Penn, New York, and under the trucks in Penn for 3 weeks. When you have this existence, your life is fundamentally altered. My health and safety was jeopardized this entire time by strangers standing next to me while I attempted to sleep. I'll be in relentless contact with your officers, and what will happen to me again is predictable. Jail. I'll be in jail for 7 times. The 7-time freak prosecutor, that repulsive Shack District Attorney's Office won't talk in court. The freak District Attorney of Monroe County, that's you, Sandra Doorley, has delivered me to jail 6 times. If it's a corrupt psychopath judge, if that insanity happened to your daughter, Erin Doorley, I guarantee you will be enraged about the violation of the civil and constitutional rights. The lives of others don't matter to either of you. Resign. The lives of others don't matter to you. So, what are the names of my prosecutors? You got that language there? On December 4th? They're right here. If they haven't left voluntarily, you've been fired. So who is it? It's not a crime to tell a man on his tractor nobody owns the land next to my rents and walk back my rents. She's why people hate the police, this Shannon Meyer. So, documentation that you will continue to receive. This is April 6th. This is why it doesn't matter. This is why you freaks and sociopaths. That's why this psychosis is a break with reality. Corruption, fanaticism, Penn Court, $28,000 Paul C. Metz. Telling you all up here using this Proton Mail as a paid email account. April 6th, mail the names of my process science, the address listed below in Rochester, New York. Read the 6 attached PDF documentation. Resign. Corruption, fanaticism, Penn Court, $28,000 policy message. The other two links, ludicrous Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, Judge Alex Renzi, abuse of power, Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, Judge Alex Renzi. April 6th, I'm telling you, all three of these links on this April 6th, 2023, I'm telling you, disclose the names of prosecute silence, and you refuse because you're corrupt, because you're have a break with reality. So this policy message who wants a total control over my life, when a prosecutor talk in court, refused to comply. She could just send me the names of my prosecutors. Ludicrous. That's April 5th. It's ludicrous because it's ludicrous for you at the district attorney's office and public defender's office to refuse to tell me the names of the prosecutors in public scene. When I talk about the Monroe County Legislature, $140,000 public defender Julie Sianka and $87,000 assistant public defender Mark Phillips, I'll send him this. Silence on Monroe County public defender Julie Sianka. How do you explain this? Because I believe you can be removed easily. And I hesitate to make predictions. That's all I'll say. Mail the names of my process on Yaz's Paul Rochester, read the 10 attached PDF documents resigned. Julie Sianka, April 2nd. Why don't you send me these names, Julie Sianka? How's this explained? It can't be explained. You'll just ignore it. You'll just be silent. Corruption, as I now know, will manifest itself in total silence. And that's you. Julie Sianka, again, on this December 6th. What are the names of my prosecutors? I told you on April 2nd. It just doesn't matter to you freaks and sociopaths. Then I'm being prosecuted in total silence. This went to Todd Baxter on April 1st, then Sandra Doorley. Mail the names of my prosecutor's silence. Jazz Paul Rochester, and attached PDF documents. All right, I'll print out the email where you can see all your email addresses at your respective Jonestowns. And I'll take the cover letter and I'll put the link on here where it says abuse of power, identification is saying, here you, Perry Douglas, for 113-918-94 cent First District Attorney Perry Douglas, identify my prosecutor's silence. For Monroe County Public Defender, Julie Sianka, identify my prosecutor's silence. And then I'm talking to my ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley, on this TikTok app called Eviction of Laura Riley. She took everything to my storage locker in this Webster, New York. It's all cleaned out. It's gone. Everything is gone because of her. Two people decided I'm getting evicted. 80-year-old Anthony Ospano and my ex-girlfriend, Laura, which is breaking the law in the state of New York. It doesn't matter, you freaks and sociopath, that 80-year-old Anthony Ospano broke the law by locking the doors and locking me on changing the locks. My ex-girlfriend broke the law by taking everything I owned to a storage locker. So everything is gone because of these two. Two people decided I wasn't going to live at my residence of 8 years in Penfield at 26 Sanders Farm Drive. Antonio Ospano, Fairport, New York, and Laura Riley, Webster, New York. I helped her move to Webster when our relationship ended. And this is what she does to me because she wants a bookcase. So, now when I say abuse of power, you got this on this April 1st. So, like I said, I'll take the cover letter, I'll put the link on there, and this is what I'm telling you, this is abuse of power. Everything I just demanded of you today on this December 6th, disclosure of names of my prosecutors, Mark Monahan, Perry Douglas, Elizabeth Buckley, Michelle Crowley, Julie Sianka, Mark Phillips. All 6 of those names, I told you here on this April 1st to tell me who it is. And you refuse. I'll go with the inflammatory word, and then I'll go with the basic, easy to understand word, like identification, which I did on this March 30th. Same thing on that March 30th. Ellie Roth, is that private technology or not? Todd Baxter, this camera is on this building, the 2025 Penfield. What's the problem in Jonestown? Tell me what the answer is. I believe that if an employee at the United States Department of Justice, like Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark, called you, Todd Baxter, and said, disclose to the citizen in Rochester, New York, if you bought a camera for him on a building in Penfield, New York, you would still refuse. I believe District Attorney Sandra Doorley, if Deputy Attorney General of the United States, Lisa Monaco, told you, disclose to the citizen Christopher Chichester in Rochester, New York, the names of the prosecutors, you would tell the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, Lisa Monaco, that you don't have to comply with anything because the law's a joke to you, you pathetic diva. So, this was on November 4th. Do you have a car and driver, you Benito Mussolini skinhead, or not? The law's a joke to him. I'll say it over and over. This is in his office. because I emailed it to him. It's not his office. He's sending his mail back to him. He's afraid to open his mail. Identification of a car driver for Sheriff Todd Baxter to transport the sheriff from his personal residence, wherever your personal residence is. Same thing for this pathetic diva who does live in Webster, where I used to live. Perry Knuckles, Mark Monahan, Elizabeth Buckley, Michelle Crowley. You know the answer to this. Does the District Attorney of Monroe County, Sandra Doorley, drive herself into the office like an ordinary New Yorker? Or does she have a car and driver? For information, identification of a car driver for District Attorney Sandra Doorley to transport the District Attorney from her personal residence. Is there a car driver she chauffeured into the office? Is that car driver waiting in her driveway? And the District Attorney gets out of her residence, exits her residence, she gets in a vehicle. You know, I don't. I'm trying to humiliate you with these documents. That's also because I know you're going to refuse. I'm not under any type of opinion that you're going to comply because you're corrupt. To this day, 15 years later, after resigned disgrace, and I was in Albany on March 12, 2008, right next to the Capitol, my apartment in State Street. Elliot Spitzer does not know he's corrupt. That's why he ran for New York City Controller only 5 years later, and he almost won. But he was defeated in the Democratic primary. Elliot Spitzer does not know he's corrupt, just like this hack right here doesn't know he's corrupt. Well, I'm demanding to know if the exalted one, $210,000, has a car and driver. 25% he's in there with. Identification of the car and driver from New York State Supreme Court Judge Alexander transport to judge with personal residence. Speaker Carl Heastie and Senate Majority Andrew Stewart Cousins in Albany need to change these laws that allow someone like him to be on there when 75% of the voters rejected him. Just like 83% of the voters rejected Julie Hanna. She's on a court. As officers of the court and attorneys, Julie Sianco, Mark Phillips, Perry Knuckles, Mark Monahan, Elizabeth Buckley, Michelle Crowley. What do you think about that? Because there's a difference between what a layman thinks. I think that's the insane lunatic fringe. And what someone that is a sworn officer in the court and has 3 years of law school and is a practicing attorney thinks. There's a big difference because of your experience. It is really mind-blowing that he's in there with 25% Alex Renzi. It's mind-blowing that Julie Hahn's in there with 17%. Mind-blowing. I don't think it's mind-blowing to you, though. I will hesitate to tell somebody what to think, even though I do that. I think you think I'm just perfectly fine with that being a law in the state of New York. Personal financial disclosure for New York State Supreme Court Judge Alex Renzi, November 4th. Again on this, October 8th. Documentation of the case for Christopher Judge says for Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court's the name of the prosecutor, Sandra. October 8th. Again on October 8th, the defective documents of the case of Dan DeLaus III, Penfield Court before John P. Lemezzo Jr. refused. Again, on October 8th, the prosecutor before John P. Lemezzo Jr. Is that Julie Hahn or not? On October 8th, the prosecutor before Paul C. Metzler that I was told is not backing down. Who is it? I know it's this boy's name. The cause for photography session, this is September 7th. The cause for photography session approved by Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter, voter of 10. Monroe County Sheriff Office employees underwater in the pool. I don't care if it's a private event. This is why he's corrupt. This is why there's a break from reality. If this is tax dollars and he tells me this is a private event, he just refuses to answer because he's corrupt. That's why. Taking pictures of the employees underwater in the pool. Ridiculous. That's less manpower, less police presence that you have on North Clinton Avenue when your employees are underwater in the pool. Ryan Fisher, Atlanta, Georgia. How much did you fleece taxpayers? You sent $163,000 Michael Fowler, $155,000 Corey Brown to Saratoga. Was that for a conference? And then you send him Ryan Fisher to Atlanta, Georgia for the Super Bowl. How much was it? How much did you fleece the taxpayers? I'm going to update this, but this is on September 7th. This is why this bald-headed stooge has such total contempt for law. Ryan Fisher's Atlanta, Georgia. He's not doing his job in Monroe County. How much did you fleece the taxpayers? The cost for hotel and plane ticket to Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee Ryan Fisher attended Super Bowl Atlanta, Georgia, February 3rd, 2019. Because here he is right here. In 2019, Ryan Fisher, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office in Atlanta, Georgia. You, Todd Baxter, the bald-headed stooge. On September 7th, 2023, told you to tell me what you fleeced the taxpayers for. Thomas P. DiNapoli can force an answer. When I hold up a Freedom of Information law, there are a number of things that go through my mind about you freaks. It's, one, I know you're not going to comply. And two, when I send this to Control Thomas P. DiNapoli, I'll say that they're refusing to comply. I'm confident that he will uncover unethical practices at the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office, unethical financial practices. I don't know if you're doing illegal things, but a trained actuary,
especially a deputy controller, can determine what you're doing with money and what's illegal and what's unethical and what is in keeping with the law. I think you're doing illegal and unethical things. Sending Ryan Fisher to Atlanta, Georgia is unethical. Illegal, I don't know about your financial practices, but I'm confident that you are doing illegal things with money because you're corrupt. That's why. This is why you're corrupt. The contract on September 7th, I've written this another 5 or 6 times since then. The contract signed by Sheriff Todd Baxter to purchase firearms from County Sheriff's Office of Police to include 1, the name of the firearms contractor, 2, the number of firearms purchased, 3, its whole amount taxed by odds to purchase firearms. September 7th. You got it. So, I'm demanding to know if, I'm not asking. When I use the freedom of information law, I'm demanding. That's the word I'll say over and over. I'm not asking you. If he has clerks, when I walk by the Supreme Court to get to the Russell Senate office building, when I work for United States Senator Olympia Snow of Maine, I would pass the Supreme Court. I think about the book, The Brethren by Bob Woodward, and my friend Greg Locke, who I work with as a Senate staffer, knew some of the clerks. So I'm demanding to know if Alex Renzi has clerks. He looked at this, blew it off, doesn't care because he's corrupt. The name's Salisbury, public employee, New York State Supreme Court, under supervising Judge Alex Renzi, 99 Exchange Boulevard, Rochester, 14614. I don't use the word clerks. That's what I'm trying to find out. Because then he can tell me who the clerk is. Some of these clerks have total control over a courtroom. Like with this trial right now for this judge, the clerk is supervising the judge in the courtroom for Donald Trump, this Arthur Ergeron, I think is how you pronounce his name, which the Trump defense lawyers have a massive problem with because there's the judge in total confusion. And there's the judge's clerk or employee, this Arthur Ergeron, I think is his name, telling the judge what to do. And there's Donald Trump, the defendant's scowl, in front of Arthur Ergeron, and Trump's attorneys are watching this clerk, a court employee, tell the judge what he needs to know. Mind-blowing lunatic fringe. And your mind-blowing lunatic fringe at that sheriff's office and district attorney's office, just like Alex Renzi's mind-blowing lunatic fringe and Paul C. Metzer, James P. Jr., and John P. Metzer Jr. are mind-blowing lunatic fringe. So, identification for a car and driver for Todd Baxter transport the sheriff to his personal residence. Tell me what the answer is. So, over and over and over, you're just refusing to tell me who it is. Deviance. Understand me? Deviance. 17-year deviance on May 24th. Deviance a bit stupefied. The stupefied public defender of Monroe County, Julie Sianka, right here. I'm telling you to disclose the names of these freaks and sociopaths that have a break with reality, that's suffering from psychosis, and you, the stupefied public defender at $140,000, Julie Sianka, has refused to tell me every single time their names. So, you have everything that I just wrote for today, and you're going to continue to refuse to disclose the names of my prosecutors of silence because you're corrupt. What I don't have because of Antonino Spano, I love that song by Pearl Jam, I'm Alive, where the lyric is I'm still alive. So I had this bracelet made a long time ago, 20 years ago. Just like this one. It's a little different. But on here it says, I wear this on my wrist, I'm still alive. It's a little broken now. I just made it to public market. Antonino Spano evicted me. My BA's gone. My dress screens for 17 Cavalry. My first airborne division gone. My 1,000+ books are gone. I had my St. Christopher medals. I bought a St. Christopher medal again. I had 10+ St. Christopher medals. My mother used to tell me, first time she bought me one was elementary school. St. Christopher will always protect you. I don't believe that anymore now, but I bought a new St. Christopher medal. All my St. Christopher medals, all 10 of them, 10+ St. Christopher medals, including the ones my mother bought me, were gone. Just like this bracelet I had made more than 20 years ago, because I love that song by Pearl Jam. I'm still alive. All my rings are gone. I wear a ring on my pinky finger because my uncle Thomas Valentine Hennessy of Staten Island, New York, used to wear a ring on his pinky finger. He was a New York City policeman for 27 years. My uncle taught me how to read the daily racing form. He used to take me up to Aqueduct and Belmont. I love horse racing, everything about horse racing, because of my uncle. I love going to the track. I've been to Saratoga more than 100 times because I lived in Albany County for 10 years. So I would wear a ring on my pinky finger to think about my uncle, who died in 1991. All my rings that I would wear on this finger for years, for 20 years, are all gone. because of Antonio Spano. It doesn't matter to you freaks and sociopaths. Just going to allow this old man to obliterate my life. You will concoct crimes for me. Where it's impossible for a prosecutor to make an argument in court and exercise the First Amendment right that I have committed a crime. And then you will ignore real crimes that are right here. I'll repeat myself because corruption requires repetition. Attached to 4 criminal complaints with this language. That Richard J. Seaton, the Montgomery Sheriff's Office, walked into Pembroke Public Library in Pembroke, New York, ran at Christopher Childs, just slammed his arm in the head of Childs, just going to fall backwards and hit his head on the ceramic tile floor. So, Richard J. Seaton violently taxed me at the Pembroke Public Library. I'm going to be arrested with the violation of my civil and constitutional rights and in jail for telling a man on his tractor nobody owns the land next to my library. Nothing's going to happen to him. Do you understand what I'm saying here? This is not a crime to tell a man on his tractor. He violently taxed me at the Pembroke Public Library. He wanted to be fired by this bald-headed being Muslim skinhead Todd Baxter. To go to any law enforcement agency anywhere in the United States of America when a crime is not committed is a crime. This is falsely reporting an incident, something like that. When Layla Kumar Shah and Nayraj Shah, 2 of my neighbors were in that parking lot. Can you see the up-close photograph of them right there? That's why I held it up close to the camera, so you can see my neighbors. They're not going to the sheriff's office, as I've said repeatedly. To the sheriff's office of anybody except me. So, Layla Kumar Shah, 2033 Pembroke, New York, 14526, false reporting incident of Christopher Childs, 26 Sandra from Drive, and was walking through a park lot. That's what we're doing. False reporting. It's not a crime to walk through that park lot. It is a crime for these 2 freaks, this 50-year-old man who lives with 70-year-old mother, to go to the sheriff's office and demand to be arrested. Antonio Spano, Fairport, New York, locked the front and back doors of the residence, 26 Sandra from Drive in Pembroke, New York, without a court order. What do you fail to understand? You do fail to understand. Because it's a break with reality. You don't exist in reality, in the truth and facts at the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office. Law arrived in Webster, New York, transported the person belonging to Christopher Childs, 26 Sandra from Drive, Pembroke, New York, to a storage locker in Webster, New York, without a court order. That's a crime. What do you fail to understand, you freaks and sociopaths? Because there's a break with reality. There's a loss of contact with reality with you. So, rejection, I'm telling you, rejection 113-918 Perry Ducks and Mark Mine telling me the names of my prosecutors. I'll repeat myself again with this freak right here. Again with this freak right here. Michael Luan, a freak perjurer. That's 73312 Michael C. Luan, the Montgomery Sheriff's Office. Walked onto the private property across the register, 26 Sandra from Drive, Pembroke, New York, Christopher Chester. That Julian ran at Chichester approximately 1 a.m. with $85,000 down bed at the sheriff's office. That Chichester ran away with his bike to fix the bike's tire. That as Chichester placed his foot on the first of 3 steps of the back porch, Julian grabbed his arm, the hammer, Chichester ran forced upwards. Chichester ran across his back porch through a sliding glass door, and as Chichester never stopped running, it's impossible to swing the hammer at 73312 Michael Lunahan. Why don't you call me to the grand jury, Michelle Crowley? When he states in his grand jury, $73,000 employee of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, that I swung a hammer at him, he perjures himself. He should be right next to the rapist and the murderers and every sick degenerate in Monroe County that I've been next to, this Michael Wynn. And so should Richard J. Seaton. I didn't talk about that search warrant that you typed, you bald-headed widow, $28,000 Pembroke Town Court Judge Paul C. Metzer in Pembroke Town Court, handed it to Leah LaRoque. She gets it to my residence because Antonio Spano allowed her in, and then you exited with my Chromebook. Where's my Chromebook, you $97,000, 40-plus pounds overweight fat girl, Leah LaRoque? Where is my Chromebook? I said to this multiple times now, here on YouTube and in writing, that I sent to the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office. It's just not matter. It does not matter to Todd Baxter that his employees are psychopaths and freaks and criminals. Just like this $97,000 fat girl, Leah LaRoque. When Richard J. Seaton attacked me at the Pembroke Public Library, that's my United States Department of Veterans Affairs I did. And you didn't give me back my ID and my money clip here, Todd Baxter. And then when I was at Wegmans, I was sleeping in Harrison Whalen Park. I was at Wegmans. Andrew Reale walked in. Him and I had a long conversation. And then Andrew drove me to the sheriff's office where I was subsequently given my property back to me. You can't even keep track of someone's property. And I wouldn't even be surprised if you're just keeping it because you know it's me. You know I read your salaries. But Andrew drove me back to the sheriff's office to get my property. I really have a difficult time thinking about Andrew He charged me with harassment second. Well, I'm not harassing anyone. But yet he drove me back to the sheriff's office to get my property. I'm contacting Pemberton Town Court using my First Amendment right to demand information. And he's interfering with my First Amendment right by leaving a voicemail with me telling me not to call the court. That's lunatic French. So, what you get, what's attached right here, innocent man is guilty, not guilty. I'm neither. I'm innocent. I've been an innocent man my whole life. That's on the Freedom of Information Law. It's attached when you receive it. This is a blank Freedom of Information Law. I'll continue to use this and fill this out with the same documentation, same language that I just read on the documentation today. I'm going to write this again. I hope in the next 48 to 72 hours, where again I'm demanding the disclosure of the names of my prosecutor's silence. And again, you freaks and sociopaths at the district attorney's office, Perry Knuckles, Mark Monahan, Elizabeth Buckman, Michelle Crowley, are going to refuse to disclose the names of prosecutors that have sent me to jail 6 times without uttering one word in court. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York.